60.
And we are live. Well, good afternoon in Prague. Good morning in Mexico. Welcome. My name is Atsiri Moreno, and I'm one of your moderators. And it's a pleasure to be here today in this joint effort to do three things. One, to connect people from both countries. To share different experiences and approaches that have been done during this global pandemic in terms of innovation, science, and technology, and to promote greater communication and understanding of the same challenges that we are facing and what can we do together. Let me just say that this webinar wouldn't be possible without the interest and support shown by all the speakers who kindly accepted our invitation, and by all of you watching from different countries. We were absolutely overwhelmed by the responses to this webinar. And for that, thank you all very much. Also to the organizers, the Ministry of Industry and Trade, the Embassy of Mexico, where we are live streaming. And what I have to say that we are following the regulations of the use of face masks indoor, which applies only to events more than 100 people. So we are really following the regulations. Also to the Central Bohemian Innovation Center and the Global Network MX, Chapter Czech Republic. This webinar is done in the framework of Science and Innovation Day, Mexico, Czech Republic. Before I pass the word to my colleague Eva Bartoñova, head of the Americas of the Ministry of Industry and Trade, I would like to say some parameters of today. Each speaker has a set of time to present. All the questions will be held at the end of the webinar. Please feel free to send your questions through the YouTube chat. And also to the WhatsApp number that you will see there in case you don't have a YouTube account. So without further ado, I pass the word to Eva.
Okay. And I have actually appeared on the screen. Thank you so much. Thank you, Atsiri, for the words of introduction and the technical remarks. I won't keep us waiting any longer, so I would just like to introduce Your Excellency Leonora Rueda, the Ambassador of Mexico to the Czech Republic, and the Deputy Minister of Industry and Trade of the Czech Republic, Martina Tauberová, who will both give a few remarks of introduction. Thank you so much.
Dear Deputy Minister, friends and audience, I am very glad to participate in this webinar. And in order to save time, I'm going to talk directly about 5 of the most important responses and policies that Mexico has taken to face COVID-19 that deals with innovation, science, and technology. 1, in the context of the race to constitutional level, the human right to enjoy the benefits of science and technological innovation, Article 3, the Mexican government outlined a national plan of innovation to be managed by CONACYT, the National Council of Science and Technology, to boost the scientific and technological research by supporting students and academia with scholarships and funding innovative projects. 2, likewise, the Mexican government launched the Special Program of Science, Technology, and Innovation 2020-2024 to foster and articulate intersectoral and interinstitutional cooperation for the technological and innovation development for the benefit of people's well-being and environment. The first results of these efforts are in sight. Indeed, CONACYT has announced 2 outstanding advances in the field of health technological innovation. A, the development of the first mechanical respirators made in Mexico, the Ejecatl, and the GATSI. Here you have the Ejecatl and the GATSI. Both of them ready to be manufactured at high scale. Number 3, Mexico is deeply committed to work with the international community to respond to global challenges like current pandemic, and it's convinced that there is an urgent need for a common approach beyond borders. At the first negative impact of unilateral approaches taken by some countries to face the pandemic, mainly in the race to find a vaccine and treatments to reduce its health effects, Mexico, as well as Czech Republic, are convinced that only multilateral responses and coordinated efforts could be effective. This is why, during the last March G20 meeting, the President of Mexico proposed to the United Nations to take an active role in guaranteeing global access to medicines and medical equipment for all through effective multilateral cooperation. As a result, in April, 179 members of the General Assembly of the United Nations, 89%, adopted a resolution in which the organization, and I quote, encourages member states to work in partnership with all relevant stakeholders to increase research and development, funding for vaccines and medicines, leverage digital technologies, and strengthen scientific international cooperation necessary to combat COVID-19, adhering to the objectives of efficacy, safety, equity, accessibility, and affordability. At the same time, Mexico contributed with 1 million euros to join the project for UN to put in place the research of a vaccine. As well, Czech Republic decided to be part of this effort. Mexico is also participating with a selection of international groups of scientists working together in the development of a vaccine and medicines, such as the Coalition for Epidemic Preparedness Innovation, CEPI, as we say in Spanish, with headquarters in Oslo, Norway. Throughout 3 projects developed by the UNAM, the National University of Mexico, the Autonomous University of Baja California, and the Mexican Institute of Social Security, the IMSS. And the other one is the Ottawa group, integrated by 12 countries: Australia, Brazil, Canada, Chile, Japan, Kenya, Mexico, New Zealand, Norway, Singapore, South Korea, and Switzerland, and the EU. That is in charge of trade policy actions, including the advanced analysis to facilitate the trade of medical supplies in order to be better positioned to deal with medical emergencies and keep global chains of such products functional. And number 5, the actual stage of the international cooperation, Mexico is decided to take the huge opportunity to build innovative collaboration mechanisms, new spaces of cooperation and capacity building based on science and technology networks and alliances, both in the public and private spheres, to create sustainable health systems. Dear Deputy Minister, Mexico and Czech Republic maintain friendly and fruitful bilateral relations. The Czech Republic is considered one of our most important partners in the field of innovation, science, and technology cooperation. Thus, last year, part of this group, here present, we launched the Day of the Science. Today, facing the new reality, I trust we have the mutual conviction to boost the possibilities of this cooperation among our public and private sectors in favor of innovation throughout knowledge sharing and the exchange of scientists, researchers, and students. This webinar is just a small test of the potential of what Mexico and Czech Republic can develop together towards this purpose. Thank you very much. Gracias.
Thank you very much, Madam Ambassador. If I may, I'll use the opportunity to say hello to all our participants, not only here around the table, but also those participants you online. It's great that we have such a number of you interested in our current topic, the fighting pandemic with innovations. the responses policies in Mexico and the Czech Republic. It's not, as Madam Ambassador rightly pointed, not just an accident that we are organizing today's webinar with the two countries, Mexico and the Czech Republic. Czech Republic and Mexico, we share pretty much similar, not only experience we've made in the last couple of months during the global pandemic, but also we are a very good partners. We are important trade partners. Mexico, as was mentioned, is the #1 trading partner of the Czech Republic in Latin America. And what we share is a very good, I'd say even excellent cooperation in research and development and innovations. And we'll very much like to focus on this cooperation and to enable further enhancement in these particular fields of cooperation via our today's webinar. So the ties we share in research and development among our institutions is already there. And we would like to show you the way the Czech Republic has faced the crisis, what innovative solutions we have come up with. We'll be happy to discuss your solutions. And the overall topic of today's webinar is to basically enrich our both sides about the possibilities, about the solutions, and to identify concrete opportunities for increased cooperation in research and development, in innovations, in nanotechnologies. We have an expert here at the table, our president of the Nanotechnological Association of the Czech Republic. And we have our experts here from Czech Invest who focus on the innovative solutions and all the events we have also come up with during the pandemic and in the last months. So I think that it will be a very fruitful and productive meeting, and that it will basically help us to focus the light on all the activities we've done. And to basically come up with concrete projects of cooperation, which would be great. We have quite a nice number of success stories. Our both academia, universities, Czech Technical University, for example, or private companies have come up with, and I'm sure that my colleagues will explain and present some of these activities, as they were a number of, but I think that there are quite a few which are really, I think, worth of mentioning and promoting, such as the 3D printable respirator or pulmonary ventilator Corovent, or a number of innovative masks and products of our very innovative nanotechnology companies. I'm sure Mr. President Kus will mention some of them. There are also quite a few interesting products in the IT area, some very good applications, and you have your very interesting products and applications as well. So I think that it could be a very good enrichment of mutual enrichment out of this today's activities event. So I won't keep you long. There is a number of speakers, very interesting ones. So I wish you a very productive webinar today. And I very much hope that this is not our last event, that it will be a number of other which will basically follow up on this webinar today. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Vice Minister. Now we will start presenting the blocks of that we have in the program. And our first speaker is Alfonso Huerta Cruz. He is the General Director of Hidalgo Science and Technology and Innovation Council, also the President of the National Network of Councils of Science and Technology, known as REDNA-CECIT, and the General Coordinator of the Hubs in Mexico, part of the Global Network MX, who will talk about the government and local responses during this pandemic. Welcome, Alonso, and the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Hello to everybody. Good afternoon in Czech Republic and good morning here in Mexico. First of all, I want to thank to thank to the hosts for the invitation received to participate in this webinar, and congratulate to all of them for setting up this excellent initiative. I cordially salute to Martina Tuberova, Deputy Minister of Industry and Trade of the Czech Republic. And of course, always it's a pleasure to have the opportunity to greet Leonor Rueda, the Ambassador of Mexico in that country. Also, I would like especially to recognize the work of Atsiri Moreno from the Central Bohemian Innovation Center and the Global Network of Mexicans for her effort to get closer the innovation ecosystems of both countries. I really believe that always is a positive establish an open dialogue with other countries in order to share policies, projects, and opportunities for collaboration. But when you are in a time of crisis, as this time, this exercise is crucial because time and opportunity are vital to give a prompt response to emerging challenges. In these dynamic processes, it's important to learn from the experience of others about different approach regarding similar problems, and then have more elements and tools to create better solution in a faster way. At the same time, it's an extraordinary opportunity for build new bridges for cooperation between our societies and several layers, as the Deputy Minister said, in economic, in academic, scientific, among others. Having said that, I share with you a presentation about things that the state level governments are doing now in Mexico. I don't know if you can see my screen. Yes, okay, perfect. And I talk a little bit about the organizations that I have the honor to represent in this occasion. The RENACECIT is the National Network of Councils and Organizations of Science and Technology in Mexico. Mexico is a country of 32 entities, states. It's a federal system. It's a very big country. And there are 32 local governments that work together with the federal government and the municipality governments in order to establish and coordinate public policies. In particular, RENACECIT integrate all the state authorities in the sector of science, technology, and innovation as a big organization for promote public policies in this area, for coordinate efforts between states and other actors, especially the federal government, but the private sector, academic sector, all the integrates of the national system of science, technology, and innovation in the country. As our ambassador said in her message, we work together with the federal government. We work with the National Council of Science and Technology, and she mentioned the efforts that the federal government are doing. I focus my presentation in the efforts that the state level government are doing now in order to give a good response to the pandemic through science, technology, and innovation. Well, this is the RENACECIT, and the other. Okay, the other organization is the Mexican Global Network that integrate a lot of Mexican who live abroad and are highly skilled and qualified and want to work for establish projects and support the development in Mexico. Is a very big organization with 62 chapters around the globe. And the counterpart in Mexico are the hubs of Mexican Global Network that are public, private, social organizations who work to promote development in different regions of Mexico, counting with the support of these Mexicans that live abroad, and develop some projects in order to promote the regional development in Mexico. All of them work in innovative initiatives with a strong social and economic impact. There are 70 hubs across the country. The expectative is that in 1 or 2 years we can have 32 hubs in all the country and work with 62 chapters around the globe. With this work, we have the opportunity to have a very good understanding about the ecosystem of innovation in Mexico and the responses and policies implemented by the state level institution to fight the pandemic during the last months. As other kind of crisis, this pandemic has been an extraordinary booster for innovation. The need of give a quick and effective response to the novel disease and to all the new problems and situations created with its disruption. We know, for instance, that during the wartime always have been an innovation explosion for the need of face the challenges about the military confrontation, creating new knowledge and technology that later have a positive impact in people. Fortunately, we are not in a wartime, but we face a very big challenge, all the world, and considering the things that happening in this time, I'm sure that all the knowledge, technology, and innovation that is emerging will have an extraordinary impact, not just in this moment, especially in our future. For that reason, we create a national repository, and we call National Innovative Response Tracker, in order to identify all the efforts that in the state level are doing for face this challenge in a very different way. The objective is know about the similar projects and catch new ideas, learning from the efforts and experience of others, and identify opportunities for collaborate between the actors that are developing this kind of initiatives. Now, we have a strong catalog of best practices and detailed map of the innovative response across the country. And as a result of this exercise, we have now a lot of good number of collaborations between governments and institutions from different states, giving a bigger and stronger impact to these initiatives. I present now a summary of this analysis of all these initiatives that we identified across the country. For example, more than 100 projects, initiatives with innovative response to pandemic are identified that are in development or has a result in Mexico. All of the projects and initiatives was proposed and developed by academics, entrepreneurs, companies, healthcare staff, social organizations, and supported in all cases by state government. I mentioned it before, there are a lot of efforts for the federal government, but in specific, this tracker is focused in the state level governments. And one of the things that I can see when review all the information is that the wide range of the profiles of the people and the organizations that are working for give a response, an effective response to these problems. It's a social problem, and all the society are involved in attend this important challenge. Other conclusion is the supports offered by governments was given by different ways, like calls, challenge, hackathons, consortiums, collaboration agreements, among others. I mean, there are a lot of possibilities and ways to establish this project and give support in order to have the best results for the people. And the response, there are a wide range of categories, is very diverse, the responses that we identify. From scientific research, for example, there are works in genetics, microbiology, virology, epidemiology, clinical essays, and protocols for healthcare, for example. And there are a lot of areas that are working now in technology development area, in medical devices development, for example, all the ventilators projects that there are in Mexico, robotics, the use of robotics, mechatronics, and development of new materials, or use the new materials in develop different type of equipment. And in innovation, just for mention some of the projects, development of personal protective equipment with innovation conditions, with new materials, with different kind of processes, all the data science using for epidemiology models or identify some of the trends that can support make better decisions, sanitation systems, and tracking apps, for mention just a few cases. And I think this is a big picture about the things that Mexico, institutions of academic sector, companies, entrepreneurs, and government are doing for attend this important challenge. And I just want to mention two cases, two states, for question of time, because in each state there are a lot of results. Daniel Jacobo from Jalisco State will be presenting some of the results of Jalisco, other very dynamic state in Mexico who is working in innovation for attend the pandemic. But I mentioned that the case of is Mexico City. The government of Mexico City is a state, is considered a state in Mexico, and they have developed a very strong work. They established a task force, a working group who integrate the most important higher education institutions in Mexico, the National Institutes of Health, the companies and entrepreneurs that are working in this area, and they develop a lot of projects, creating solutions and products for all the health care system. For example, in personal protective equipment for the people, they develop and produce face shields with graphene. They deliver 1 million in the subway system in Mexico. We have to remember to Mexico City is one of the biggest city for population around the world, and they develop 35,000 of this kind of face shields in the central market, and they develop boots and incubators, dressing gowns, and graphene masks, and other examples. For example, they develop a N95 mask for the healthcare staff in the city, support to hospital infrastructure, and all that they are working in epidemiology surveillance. This is the case of Mexico City. Of course, it's a very short resume about all the actions. In the other hand, we have the example of Hidalgo State. For example, we published a call for access to the synchrotron light time to combat to COVID-19 in collaboration with the Paul Scherrer Institute. This project has supported 5 projects in this moment. The state of Hidalgo, with the support of the Governor Omar Fayad, is financing these projects, and the Paul Scherrer Institute in Switzerland are giving the access to the light of synchrotron in order to identify different kind of projects in the way that we can face the COVID. For example, they are studying about the evolution or mutation of the virus, develop diagnosis about the way that is reproducing the virus, and develop medication and vaccines necessary to combat the virus and prevent its spread. Other collaborations that in Hidalgo State are developing now is with the Harvard School of Public Health in collaboration with Hidalgo State. We developed a program of prevention of health risks for COVID-19 in education and economic sectors. And with BioBot, a spin-off of MIT that are focused in analyze the sewage as a source of information about the pandemic. We can identify, student analyzing this sewage, the level of presence of the virus in the population, in specific in the 5 biggest city in the state, for mention only a few examples. And I want to finish my presentation with a very short reflection about the impacts and the lessons of this pandemic. Of course, a pandemic that brought a strong change in our life, has modified all our style of life, that has caused thousands of lives around the world, that brought a health and economic crisis, but in the other hand, brought other opportunities and have a positive lessons. One of them, I think the most important, is that now more people and more politicians understand that science, technology, and innovation are strategic. They have to be the top of the priorities of the society. All can solve during the last months that the solutions, that the understanding of the problem comes from the scientific, from the technology and innovation area, and we have to support and understand and take advantage in better way of these activities for make a better development of the humanity around the world. Other good lesson is the relation between politics and science. We identified that we need more science and less political decisions, that the public policies must be based in evidence, that politics must be supported and make an effort for bring the scientific vision and the science background to the political area, and put in the top of the agenda this kind of collaboration. The third lesson is that is a team effort that I said before. We need to collaborate. We need to identify the things that we can contribute and put with the effort, the other people, the other actors, other institutions. We really see the intention of the people to contribute, to help, to solve this kind of challenge in the private sector, entrepreneurs, academics, and we need to give the elements, the environment, and the support for work together and try to create better solutions. And not just inside the country. For example, this webinar is a very good example. We need to cooperate and collaborate with other institutions, with other agents, with other people in other parts of the world. And I think this webinar is an excellent opportunity to establish this kind of links and try to dynamize this process in a better way. And the last lesson is that innovative response are necessary. Of course, new problems, new challenges, demand new approach and new solutions. And this is an important driver for the present and for the future of our societies. Innovation has to be in the center of the development model, and we have to build these capacities for attend not just the crisis that we are facing now, especially, but the crisis that will be in the future. The humanity will be facing during the next year. And with this reflection, I conclude my presentation. Thank you very much And I really want to share with all of you that the Renace seat and the hubs of the Mexican Global Network are open and very interested to establish links and cooperate with the institution of Czech Republic. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, hello again, back from Prague. And thank you so much, Alonso, for your interesting contribution. I think we've actually seen a lot of overlap in the lessons that we have learned here and what you have learned and what you just talked about. Definitely a swift and pragmatic political response was an important element for us as well. And you will actually see it in the following presentation, the way we introduce certain programs to support innovation and actually get some results that in some ways are actually similar to the ones that you presented. I won't really keep us much longer because we're kind of a little bit late. So I will present our next speaker, which is Jakub Hájek. He's the director of the innovation department at the agency Czech Invest. And he was actually one of the instrumental people that was in the middle of the whole hurricane, helping companies and institutions here to get their innovation solutions to the market. So please, Jakub, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Eva. Good afternoon in Czech Republic. Good morning to Mexico. I'm here today to make a short summary of what happened here in the last 3 months. I'm not sure if I can have a presentation. Yeah. And when I was preparing this presentation, I realized that it's quite interesting looking backwards how fast it all happened. I think there was simply no precedence for that. And once we will see my slides, I've realized it might be easiest if I will go in a simple timeline. Nope. Yeah. So next slide, please.
I can give it to you.
Brilliant. Yeah. So I can just click here, right? Yeah, perfect. So if we look back at the date 12th of March, when the state of emergency was declared, we very quickly realized that people were looking for answers. There were questions unanswered because people were looking for what's happening, what we need to do, can we keep the business running, and so on. Obviously, we are from the Ministry of the Business and Trade, and absolutely the most part of the questions were coming from this area, but also the health issues like what are the face masks, are they covered, are they needed there or there, can we close, can we keep it open, how many people can be together, and so on. So quickly we realized that we need some answer for that. Just 3 days later, the first info line 1212 was created on Ministry of Industry and Trade. And even if it was a free national line, mainly for the business, it didn't limit the questions to that. We were also answering questions for health issues and mobility logistics. There were plenty of people across the borders and they didn't know how to get back because the borders were closing and so on. So that was very quick answer just to give, or let's say very quick answer of the government to give answers to the general public. During those calls, and we actually were able to cover 40,000 calls a month since that time, we realized there is a plenty of questions coming for the real business issues. Like there were companies having overstock of the goods. There were companies with no supplies because they were limited to, let's say, Asian suppliers and so on. And we realized that we need to create something very quickly where these people can connect and either offer or request whatever they need. So the new platform, we called it COFPoint at that moment, was created. And I would say in a very short terms, it was kind of a marketplace. Yeah, it was a platform which was supporting companies directly, but we were mediating that, we were moderating these communications. So we knew that if the company is there, it exists. It is a real company with something real behind them. And we were trying to manage this business together. Very quickly, we were able to do like 150 assisted trades. And we realized that it's simply too much because the requests were too wide. And we said, okay, we have to open this marketplace. So we know that since that time, it was thousands of offers and requests which were realized. It was not only the goods like raw materials and face masks at that moment or disinfection, but it was also a lot of standard overstock, but also some resource in human resources, let's say people who had nothing to do because there was no request for automotive at that moment. And we had also a lot of free offers, I would call it. We had a lot of volunteers who wanted to help in any way. And we realized this is not a good platform for this kind of offers because you would not look for that on that platform. So we realized we need a new platform. We called it Spojujeme Česko, which means we connect the Czech Republic in translation. It's a networking platform where it was not limited to governmental help and so on. It was actually gathering initiatives and projects all over the Czech Republic. And most of them were volunteering, most of them were for free. It was help for the seniors. It was anything you can realize. We've actually gathered more than 80 until now, and we were selecting very widely because the real offer was definitely over 500. So we were selecting them. What we really saw was nationwide, and it was really helpful. In fact, we would like to run this platform on because there is no reason why to stop it. However, we will need to slightly move the topic for the next days. It was still built around this Kochpoint thing. After that happened, there were companies coming and they said, we can help, we can produce face masks, we can produce shields, we can produce anything you want, but we need some help in financial way. And that's where the programs were coming up. We were actually quickly adapting some of the European, let's say, programs to adapt to the situation. We also came with some national program. We call it Czech Rise Up. And then we realized we have to split it into several stages. Let's say the first one, which was the fastest one, obviously it didn't give much, but it gave the first cash, which was absolutely necessary to cover something like raw materials for production, rental costs, and so on. That was the Czech Rise Up. And I'm not going to go through all these details because you will receive this presentation later anyway, but in total, we've supported 54 projects. The cash allocated was not too high, but it was absolutely perfect for the first response. And it did cover new solutions, new projects pretty much, and new protective equipments, testing solutions, and so on. Just some examples of what really happened in that first month. And we are still talking of the first 1 or 2 months since the pandemic started. Company came with automatic RNA extraction from samples. Yeah, that's something what increased the production, or sorry, the testing possibilities hundreds times. We've developed completely new helmets for emergency services. There were a complete new ventilator system developed in that moment, based on the previous work, obviously, because you can't develop the ventilator in 2 months. But the speed of the development in the late stage was enormous. There is many other products developed, and I would say one of the most important, I have it here, was, I think it's a kind of a symbol of what happened, and I think also Mrs. Tauberova already spoke about it. That's a 3D mask or respirator of the FFP3 equivalent, which the idea itself came 14th, just 2 days after the pandemic state was declared. They came with the idea of having something like that, and they came with a 3D model. 6 days later, we've made a first testing by notified body. And because of that time, the notified bodies were not so overwhelming like they are now, it was possible to do it. So we've received a short-term certificate at that time, according to EU, just 6 days after the first prototype was made. 3 days later, they've realized that 3D production is perfect idea because you can very quickly spread the plans, and anybody having a proper 3D printer can do it. But even if we put all 3D printers in the country together, we are not able to produce enough. So there was an idea, okay, let's make it injection molded. Second reason for that was actually that we realized that this distributed production has certain limitations. And that was something we were never thinking of, because we all think that as distributed production for future of anything, regardless of the pandemic, is the future, is the key. but we don't have the infrastructure made for that, because all products need some certificates, and distributed production means those certificates are lost because they are always connected to the producer. So I think that's another topic which we need to target soon, because otherwise the distributed production doesn't really make a sense. In any way, inject molding was introduced in this specific case, and with that increase to, let's say, 10,000 pieces a day, the supply of the filter was not enough. So what we had to do is, and we did really invested a lot of time, and 14 different companies were connected together just to make automated production of the filters and also of the, let's say, quality check, because that's the most important part of this production of this kind of protective equipment. So in the end, what we were able to do within 2 months, we were able to have, 3 months, we were able to have a full CE certificated, 3D printed, okay, now inject molded mask in a quantity of, let's say, roughly 50,000 a week, so 200,000 a month. Because of this mask is, it can be cleaned. It doesn't have to be. It's not a disposable one. It can be used several times, or many times, as long as it's sterilized. And as the filters are quite long-term protecting in a nice, in a clean conditions, this covers much more than it would be in the respirator situation. Sorry. Okay. How I go back?
And if I may, you go one more pie to last view.
No,
Previous.
Yeah. Okay, so there were, of course, obviously, other programs started, and you will receive all these lists anyway. But those programs were more for financing of the technologies, like for new lines, for production of new FFPs, and so on. So in total, we were releasing the support in the time to get all what we needed. What has to be mentioned is exactly what my previous speaker said, team effort. Yeah, we've realized that not only the government has to react, the general public does react as well. And citizens were starting to sue the face masks. We actually have seen a lot of voluntary activities, including the help to seniors with shopping and everything, just to protect the most vulnerable people. What happened next, and this is quite interesting situation, because several years back, we've supported a startup called Mapotic, which was able, as you see on the picture below, it was able to display locations exactly as you need. It's a specific program just to use the maps in a special way. And on this map, there was created a new platform called Dáme roušky, which means like we give a face masks. Anybody who was sewing the face mask could put the address on, and they were simply spreading all over Czech Republic. So anybody could check the closest location of face masks possibilities. And that helped a lot at the beginning, because there was plenty of seniors or people without any chance to get the face mask at that moment. And this was the easy way. By the way, we actually, of course, included this kind of activity to our platform, where I saw, which I showed at the beginning, where we were spreading the information around. We actually also created a smart quarantine. We used an application for iPhones and smartphones with Android, special application which was collecting your location based on your own will. And if later somebody found himself positive and he placed himself as positive, it immediately alerted everyone who was in touch or close in proximity to him. So that helped a lot as well. I would say, when we are talking of, are we going to be ready for the next time, if it ever comes, and I don't have any doubt it will, sooner or later, but hopefully I will not be here at that moment. It doesn't have to be pandemic. It can be a flood or any other crisis from meteorite. It can be some, let's say, emergency from the blackout or cybersecurity situation. There can be civil war. There can be anything. All these cases we should be thinking of. And if you think of how would we be able to fight with that for future, I think the nice parallel is in the industry. I was working in industry for 15 years in quality management. And I think the quality management is exactly answering this. You have to identify and prevent. And if it happens, you have to reduce the impact. And I think the nicest and easiest way would be the FMEA analysis, which is a failure mode effects analysis, where you first review the process. Yeah, I think that's what we've done already. Then you have to brainstorm the potential failure modes. If you brainstorm those, you can think of what can happen. Blackout, that. Simple. Once you have the list, you can say, how severe is that? Is it really something big problem, or is it something we can live with? Yeah. How often does it happen? And is it easy to find out that it comes or not? And if you have these three, let's say, indicators, then you can easily make the so-called RPN, which is the risk process number, which is the information about how severe is the real situation. You multiply those three indicators. The indicators have a level 1 to 10. So in the total, the indicator has a level 1 to 1000. And obviously you pick those with the highest total number, which means like even if the problem is very difficult and can have a high impact, if it is easy to detect and if it doesn't happen too often, it's not that big problem. So that's how I would say we should follow for the next months. And we should find out a committee or working group working on this, and not only thinking of pandemic, because pandemic is not the only risk we have. Thank you for the attention.
Thank you very much. Now we will pass to block number 2, where we will listen to some of the results of the Black Sheep programs that aim in finding innovative solutions about COVID in Jalisco, as we heard now in Czech Republic. Let me introduce you to Daniel Jacobo Velázquez, General Director of Science and Technological Development of the Secretariat of Innovation, Science and Technology of Jalisco. Welcome, Daniel, and the floor is yours. You need to.
Yes, I am unmute. Thank you very much for the invitation to share what we have been doing in Jalisco for fighting the pandemic with innovation. I'm going to share my screen. I have a presentation. Let me a presentation with some videos that can describe what we have been doing more precisely. Okay. I don't know if you can see my presentation. Yes?
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thanks for inviting me. It's really an honor to have the opportunity to share with the Czech Republic what we have been doing in Jalisco. Jalisco has been very active in innovation, and it's the slogan of Jalisco is the capital of innovation from Mexico. So I'm going to show first how we work in science and technology, which is our science and technology development model, to then explain how we are focusing our efforts in two of the main drivers of our strategy to fight the pandemic. So in Jalisco, we are very strong in these 4 main areas. The biotechnology, mainly applied to agro, to food science and technology also. We also have data science. We have art, digital arts and science, and innovation and design. So we have 2 hubs, and we work through these 4 hubs. In these hubs, we have all the universities that works in that areas, and that we put all the experts. We put also all the industry that works in innovation, in order to put them together to work, to develop projects, and we invest money in the best projects. So we have these 4 hubs, the science and technology hubs from Jalisco, and the outcomes of these hubs are basic and applied science, inventions. We are the number 2 in Mexico in inventions, in patents, And then we also have a lot of science and technology entrepreneurship. And our main objective is that through these hubs, we are going to solve a social challenge, and we are going to increase the business competitiveness of the main sectors of Jalisco. To solve social challenge, we are mainly focused in health and environment. In health now, of course, in COVID-19, in metabolic syndrome, and in dengue. And in environment, we want to solve problems from one of the main rivers in Mexico, the Santiago River, that is very contaminated. So we are applying biotechnology to solve the contamination of the river. We also are working to improve the quality of air and also to work in climate change. And our main sectors in Jalisco are the agro, the health and pharma, the IT and creative, the automotive, fashion, energy, and medical devices. So we are focused mainly in this, and this is where we want to be the best, and all the money from Jalisco focus on innovation and science is mainly focused in these areas. Okay, through these 4 hubs. So once we had the pandemic, we had this Jalisco COVID-19 challenge, where we had a call for proposals for the science and technology hubs of biotechnology and data science, because we want solutions to fight the pandemic. We want to have a project, a basic and applied science project, also that results on inventions, and also that results on new entrepreneurships to solve this social challenge, the COVID-19. So the objective of this call for proposals was to fertilize and develop the capacities of Jalisco to fight the sanitary contingency through applied science project focused on finding solutions to prevent, detect, monitor, and treat the virus. We have the call for proposals from April 3 to April 22, and we were very fast in giving the money to the institutions, to the hubs, to start working on the projects, and we have already finished many of the projects that I'm going to show you now. So to better explain this Reto Jalisco COVID-19, or the 19 COVID Jalisco Challenge, I have a video from the Secretariat of Science and Technology and Innovation, Maestro Alfonso Pompapadilla, that is going to talk about the challenge, and is going to talk about the results that we had from the COVID challenge. Okay, the video is translated, so I think that I'm going to share again the presentation, because I want to share the sound. So I'm going to start sharing. And I'm going to share again to share the sound from the computer. I think that, can you see the presentation now? Yes, okay. So I'm going to put play to the video.
The COVID-19 Jalisco Challenge has the goal of supporting all of the technological and scientific developments that are helping us fight the COVID-19 pandemic. Jalisco is one of the few states in the Republic that has destined part of its own public resources, those which we manage through Coecitjal, to serve these developments. We received 135 proposals based on 2 categories: the A modality, which corresponds to all devices or technologies that serve to fight COVID or to help in its treatment, and the B modality, which are data science applications that allow us to monitor coronavirus cases with greater precision. We've contributed a total of 16.5 million pesos, and we're very confident that the majority of these projects will provide practical and useful results in very short time. We are a multidisciplinary group of people who focused on creating this medical equipment in a record time. Here we see it today, very close to a reality. We learned about this challenge right on time. The Secretary of Innovation, along with Coecitral, gave us wide open doors, and there was a section precisely on the area of mechanical ventilation. When we decided to make this equipment, we realized that there were a lot of experts on several areas. This is why, when we found out about what the Marist University had already advanced, we decided to join efforts, and with the prototype they'd already worked on, plus the engineers, doctors, biomedical engineers, and other experts we had in Aire con Vida, we were able to push through this prototype, which is now practically ready for usage. Developments that would normally take years to make in other countries with all the resources, here we're making it with our own people. Our engineers, our scientists, our designers, and in very few months, frankly, they've done an exceptional work to support their country, to solve challenges related to COVID-19 during these difficult times.
Okay, so that's the summary of one of the main projects that we were supporting, the mechanical ventilators. And here is just an example of the project. We have this medical device that is a mechanical ventilator. You can see here how it operates. It's very simple to operate. Actually, this company was a company that was manufacturing toys for kids, and then they changed their manufacturing production lines to produce this ventilator. So it's a very inspiring story of this person and this company. The medical device is finished, is ready to use. We have gone to, I forgot to translate this part, but we went to the National Institute of Nutrition to do the test that we need to do before approval of the COFEPRIS, that is like the FDA from Mexico. We went to the institute to do the test with this artificial lung, and we also made the test with an animal protocol in Universidad de Guadalajara. As you can see here in this video, this was one of the tests that we performed, and now we are waiting for the response from COFEPRIS for the approval of this device. And something that is very relevant to point out in this project is that the animal protocol that we designed to prove this medical device was used by CONACYT. CONACYT, the two ventilators that they launched and they developed were proved by our protocol in Universidad de Guadalajara. And that protocol was designed to test this ventilator. So we are also very proud of Universidad de Guadalajara because they have a very strong hope in health science and in veterinary science. So I think that we were the one in Mexico, Jalisco, that were ready to perform this type of test to have the approval of ventilators. So now Universidad de Guadalajara is performing other animal protocols to help in the approval of other ventilators. Okay. Another important type of project that we were supporting in modality A was the development of detection methods. And I'm going to show another video where we are supporting the development of 3 different methods of detections that are very fast, very quick, and also we are very advanced in the development of these technologies.
The COVID challenge we launched this year was very successful in its call for proposals. Especially in the current ongoing projects, they all aim to attend the crisis provoked by the pandemic. We developed a diagnostic test for antigen detection, capable of directly detecting the COVID virus. The project consists of developing an electric system for the rapid detection of COVID-19 virus, but built to meet test massification. What we are generating is a diagnostic agent. We're searching for the way in which that type of detection and sensibility is obtained in a much more simple and affordable way. We do this so that when we generate all of these detection kits, we can obtain a much simpler and affordable distribution, such that can also help these types of communities, which, although they have level 1 clinics, they don't have the conditions, equipment, and personnel we have over here. I believe we are working in a multidisciplinary manner, not centralized on just one institution. This problem affects us all. It's not just the government's responsibility to solve it, nor is it possible for the private initiative alone to solve it. The solution has to come from a collaboration of both sides. And that's exactly what we're doing, focusing Jalisco's public resources so that the scientific and technological development, as well as our innovation models, produce tangible and visible results that can contribute to an overall improvement in our quality of life.
So this is our other type of projects that we are supporting. We have 3 main projects. The first one is from Tec de Monterrey, from Pati Mora's institution. Is a detection kit for COVID. This is very interesting because it's a very low-cost procedure. It's about less than $5 per test, compared with $100 or $150 that is the price of the test that we have commercially available. This project is almost finished. They have almost finished the development of the device, and we are expecting to have the approval from COFEPRIS at the beginning of September. As you will see in all the projects, our main barrier is the approval from COFEPRIS. Because in this time of pandemic, they are receiving a lot of approval requests. So this is our main barrier to go to the market, the approval from the government to introduce the products. And the advantage of this kit from Tec de Monterrey is the simplicity, and also that can be transported to other places without refrigeration. And is a very low-cost transportation method for taking these kits to populations that are very far from the capital of Jalisco. And the other test that is finished and we are waiting for the response from COFEPRIS is Find COVID. That is this kit that is here, as you can see, is ready for use. And it's very simple. Just with a sample of blood, you can detect. You can have 4 responses. If you just start the disease, if you are in the disease, like advancing, if you are finishing the disease, or if you are done with the disease, or if you don't have the disease also. So you have different type of responses with this Find COVID-19, and this is from this Uniman. And we also have this TK2E that we gave support to this company to develop all the electronic system to have a device, a medical device that can have that can perform massive tests in Jalisco. We can have like 7,500 tests per month per unit. And what we did was to support all the electrical or electronic system developed. And this system is in USA, and they have the approval from FDA. So we are working on the importation of the device. And also here, Universidad de Guadalajara is like one of the main collaborators because they are helping us with the protocols to validate these different detection methods in a real environment, because Universidad de Guadalajara is in charge of Radar Jalisco. That Radar Jalisco is like the program that we have to perform tests in the state. So they are going to validate these different tests, and if they work, Jalisco is going to buy these tests. So we are going to be the buyers of our own developments. So that's also something that is very important when we have a new project, to have like the client, and we have the client that is our government. So we are working in that. And the next presentation is the next medical device that we have developed is protective barriers for healthcare workers. We have two different types of barriers that we developed. One that was a microcap to isolate COVID-19 patients when they are being intubated. However, this device was not like very useful for the doctors. They said that instead of helping, were also a barrier for them to work. So we decided to abort this development, the microcaps, and then we just focus on these transfer units for COVID-19 patients. And they are very useful for the design. They are very practical. We had like many iterations with the hospitals to have a final prototype that really helps the doctors. And we are donating 15 of these transfer units with the amount that we gave to the CIATECU, that is one of the research centers here in Jalisco. So this is our one of the examples. And also the other project that we are very enthusiastic to perform is the development of a dietary supplement rich in nutraceuticals, functional products, to enhance the immune system in healthcare workers, because they are the ones that are more prone to have the disease. The healthcare workers, and also, of course, the people that is in contact with COVID-19 patients. So we designed a new supplement. I said we because my area of expertise is nutraceuticals and dietary supplements, and I was working with CIATEC, one of the main research centers in Mexico that is the expertise is biotechnology, also with Tec de Monterrey and with Universidad de Guadalajara again. They have a center to perform clinical trials. And we have this protocol design. We design a mixture of compounds, probiotics, vitamins, minerals that we know that they are like a boost to improve the immune system. And we are going to have this clinical trial. So we have submitted this clinical trial to 3 different ethical committees, to 1 research committee, and we also are waiting for the approval by COFEPRIS to start our protocol. And the price of the supplement is estimated to be $15. That is really a low cost supplement for the treatment of 1 month. And we are going to donate 1,000 treatments for the healthcare workers. And depending on the COFEPRIS approval, we are going to have this protocol finished by the end of September. Okay, so I think that I'm going to finish with this slide. I'm sorry for the time. I think that I took more time than what I had. But the modality B was the data science, and this was done by the Hub of Data Science from Jalisco. And we developed different applications. One application was a pandemic an application to monitor and predict the pandemic. where we had different institutions involved. We also had another application that serves as virtual reality training for healthcare workers. When they enter to the hospital, they can, by using their cell phone, they can have different like instructions of how to use different medical devices, of also how to take care of themselves, etc. And we also have route of medical connections because, as you know, healthcare workers have some like people is very in Mexico. They don't like people that are with the uniform of medical doctors because they are scared that maybe they have COVID-19. So we develop a route of medical connections that help to transport all the medical workers. Okay, and we also have a promotion of local business because, as you know, economy is one of the main problems, our decay in economy. So we want to promote our local business. So we developed an application to promote all the local business in Jalisco. So this is what we had in Jalisco. This is what we did with the COVID challenge in Jalisco. This is my information. If you have any additional question or if you want to know more about the different projects. So thank you very much for your attention. Okay.
Okay, so thank you so much. We're again back in Prague. And actually, I just would like to say that Jalisco is an excellent example for us because we actually had a technology mission last year to Jalisco precisely. And we were very interested in following up on that and actually finding these similar similar success stories. Actually, the results that you were mentioning, there have been some very similar results in the Czech Republic. The Diana Technologies that won the Czech hackathon actually was focused on ultra-sensitive tests, and the second place was a simplified ventilator manufacturing, which was called Corovent. So the two examples that you presented are very much in line with what we're doing here. But without further ado, I'll actually pass the floor to our colleagues who were in charge of the Czech hackathon. It will be two colleagues. One is actually connected remotely, and she's going to be the first one speaking. That is Jana Šmotková, who is the space projects manager at the ESABEC incubator in Prague. And the following speaker will be Tereza Kubicová, who is the director of SMEs and internal projects at the agency Czech Invest. So now we will connect to Jana, and we will show you the presentation as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you for the introduction, Eva. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My colleague Tereza and I are very happy to be here and that we could share with you our experience by fighting pandemic by supporting innovations via hackathon. As you have heard from the previous presentation, during the coronavirus crisis in the Czech Republic, new innovations like Corovent's low-cost crowd-funded ventilators and Czech Health Ministry Erouška smart quarantine mobile app have made both national and international headlines. But these had not been only innovations to come out of the crisis. Czech Invest, in cooperation with the Czech Ministry of Industry and Trade and other partners, has launched a virtual hackathon that during the April and May sought to support and unify the country's fight against coronavirus and by putting new ideas from Czech regions, schools, businesses and associations into accelerated development. So why hackathon and why us? Czech Invest is the Czech Republic's official business and investment development agency, and the agency plays a key role in providing support for local businesses and foreign investors in the country, as well as promoting the Czech Republic abroad. One of the primary goals of Czech Invest is transforming the Czech Republic into one of Europe's leading innovators. Very soon after the crisis has started, we came with the idea of the hackathon, also because in the past at Czech Invest, we have held many hackathons in order of scouting of innovative ideas for the incubation center run by the Czech Invest. This proves to be a successful tool. Therefore, hackathon for the COVID situation seemed to be a good idea as well. Next slide, please. can you please switch to the next slide? Okay. Not only our experience, that was the key decision point. We have also seen this work abroad, and for example, in the Hack the Crisis Estonia, Poland, and Germany. Once the idea of hackathon was there, we have immediately started to prepare its realization, and within 2 weeks, on 1st April, hackathon was kicked off. Czech Invest at the Czech Ministry of Industry and Trade in the hackathon sought to support companies by providing solutions for problems such as shortage of financing, lack of contacts, know-how and capacities, as long drawn-out processes. By overcoming these and similar issues faced by small businesses and entrepreneurs, Hack the Crisis aimed to put promising new projects from the Czech businesses into practice as soon as possible, with help from the state as well as private experts and visionaries. When we were thinking about the concept, we valued the private initiatives that were already operating here, and we did not want to interfere with them. However, we wanted to provide support where it was needed and where there was interest in it. Basically and mainly, we wanted to match our country's need with a tremendous energy and volunteering in the IT segment and other sectors. So we came up with the concept of the close cooperation with the National Crisis Crew. And for the hackathon, we established a body called the Idea Board. This Idea Board was comprised of representatives from Ministry of Health, Ministry of Interior, Rectorate of the Technical Universities, Deputy Minister for the Digitalization, and many others who helped us to define the country's needs. The country needs and priorities were defined under 3 areas, and under these 3 areas were defined priorities which have been published on the hackathon website, so the prospective participants could apply with regards to them. And what was the hackathon run like? Participants then sent their project plan via web form. The project was assessed in accordance with the country's priorities defined by the mentioned Idea Board. And also we try to give the dimension where we evaluated whether a similar project already exists. Participants then receive feedback within 48 hours. And project which passed this pre-selection was taken over by a so-called angel mentor who tries to communicate all the project needs, connect the project with the mentors that need it, as well as with the partners who could help them and to accelerate. If the hackathon board and angel mentor agreed on the project was already mature and it is appropriate to provide financial support for the project, we helped with the application for the Czech Rise Up program, Smart Measures Against COVID-19, financial program specially designed by the Ministry of Industry and Trade, which was already mentioned by Jakub. We worked with the project during the several weeks, and according to the project performance, Hackathon Expert Board selected the flagship projects, which we have 24. Out of these 24 projects, we selected top 15 projects that advanced to a special presentation competition called the pitch competition. The jury at the pitch competition evaluate uniqueness, innovation, impact, and time consuming, how fast it can be applied, and also the long-term effect of the solution. The hackathon proved to be a great tool to help these innovative projects. So when Czech Republic received gift of 10 million Czech crown, which equals 400,000 euros, by the Hyundai Motor Manufacturing in order to help fighting coronavirus, it was very soon decided by the Czech government that this money will be used as a prize money for the best hackathon projects. Thanks to this money, we were able to award 3, 2, and 1 million Czech crowns to the project ranked at 1st, 2nd, and 3rd place. Plus, we also awarded another 5 projects ranked at 4 to 8 places by a special prize of 700,000 Czech crowns. The pitch competition was a grand finale of the hackathon, streamed online, and gained a great attention, not only from the media and the general public, but also attracted the attention of the Prime Minister of the Czech Republic, who came and not only hand over the prizes, but also dedicated a significant time to acquaint it with the projects. And after the competition, we helped them to accelerate even faster and accommodate on the Czech market and state structure. Now you will see a short video in order to illustrate the atmosphere of the grand finale.
We're getting there. We're just having a little bit of technical trouble.
We can continue with the presentation. There were several factors of the hackathon success. First was single point entry. We have created a single point entry for the state, a clear and unified channel for communication with the public sector, conceptual and coordinated involvement of the state apparatus in communication inwards for ensuring the acceleration of administrative process, and outwards as well for communication of our own needs and clear definition of the state demand for a certain solution. Then it was network. Due to the fact that Czech Invest is standing at the boundary between the public and private sphere, we have contacts to investors, small and medium-sized enterprises and startups, as well as various institutions and people across the state administration. We are thus able, for example, to help accelerate the product certification process. At the end, we have more than 60 partners from the private and public sectors, scientific communities and business associations who provide their services and products to selected projects. We offered mentoring from more than 150 mentors from various fields, legal advices, business, IT, healthcare, and marketing. Then it was finances. In addition to the prize money for the best projects and the Czech Rise Up program, project also could gain support from the venture capitalist and EY, who were part of the hackathon board and jury at the pitch competition. The hackathon was operated under the Spojujeme Česko, Czech network platform, also mentioned by Jakub, so we could develop some synergies effort. And most importantly, joining forces, the cooperation. Basically, the success of the hackathon lies in cooperation between the state administration, companies, investors, and academy, which was mutually beneficial and for all engaged parties. And now I would like to pass the floor to my colleague Teresa, who will talk about the results and next steps.
One more.
Give me 1 second.
And one more.
Give me 1 second. Okay, so we are actually setting it up because our mouse is not connected well.
Yeah, and two more. Not this one. Next one. At least one.
Okay.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Good afternoon to Prague and good morning in Mexico. I would like to just very briefly introduce some of the winners and then maybe some next steps what we are now preparing. So you have already heard from Eva about Diana Biotechnologies, which was a winner, and about Corvent, which was on second place, also in our hackathon. But as Jana in the presentation said, we were focused not just on healthcare, but on the two other areas, as it was economy and society. So I would like to introduce very briefly another projects. For example, I would like to start with the project Kaleido, which is also on the first picture in the on the presentation, and it was created as a project for the, virtual travel for seniors. And because seniors' homes and other care centers have become completely isolated, and even if these old people were protected from the virus, they were alone and they were suffering mentally. So this company or this project came with the solution maybe, and the goal of the projects was the virtual trips to become a part of active therapy for seniors, because virtual reality can stimulate the brain to such a degree that it is able to slow down the onset of dementia. So it was a Kaleido project from the social area. Then I would like to shortly introduce, for example, Project Hantro Games, which was not for old people, but for children. And it was a different name, was learning through play. So the company develops an interactive geolocational and plot-based experience escape game that and developers wanted to transform distance learning, which can be boring for children, into something entertaining and attractive. So there was a Hantro game, and they are now working with many other topics, and we really believe that they will continue in the work. And for example, other very interesting project from the area of healthcare is Oxygenerator, which was also all of these projects which I'm speaking about were among the winners. So the Oxygenerator was a product designed, and the product was designed and developed as a device which can produce slightly pressurized air with high content of oxygen, and the amount of concentration can be easily regulated. The Oxygenerator can be safely operated even by person without medical training, and it's suitable for home use when respiratory support is required. So it's not needed to use just in hospital, but it can be also at home. And last one project, also not from the area of healthcare, but I think very interesting, can be Grey Cortex, which is the company which decided to stand up against cyber attacks on hospitals, which were quite often during the crisis, and they began to develop new product which is able to automatically respond to newly rising threats and attacks. And in addition to that, it will be able to stop attacks automatically without the need of human intervention. And they decided to give to hospitals for free, so they were not needed to pay anything for 1 year or something like that. So I think very, very interesting. And I can switch on next slide, it was to the project, and it was just to say some examples, and we will be more than happy to share the detailed information about all 15 finalists, which Jana said that we have on this grand final. so we can send it, and we can also in English give all the information. And now, just really my last slide is to say you some next steps or what we are planning. So on the first place, you can see crisis response hub. This is we are preparing, and we decided during the crisis and during the realization of hackathon that we just don't want to stop after the crisis is out, and we decided to create or build a hub for startups, which will be for a long-term period. We would like to find solutions not just for pandemic or such a crisis, but on other types of crises which are possible, for example, cyber attacks and terrorism and other. And we would like to cooperate this maybe together with the second second point I have in the presentation, together with the Czech government, we would like to find the solutions which could be implemented in other types of crises. And we would like to support relevant startups and bringing relevant stakeholders to the table in meaningful way. So in this hub. And between this cooperation with Czech government, we started the roadshow, and we are together with our prime minister and relevant ministers. We are visiting the companies from the hackathon, and we are looking for a way how to help them. And of course, we are focusing on lesson learned, and we are very happy that we can give our experience to other resorts and so. We have been approached by various institutions and associations that wish to create similar competition or hackathon to current impacts, for example, on economy or tourism. So it's all from my side. Thank you for attention.
Thank you very much. I hope you're still with us. I think we're having very interesting presentations. And now, to close the round of these blocks, we will have a closer look on the transformation of the IT and the nanotechnology sector, and a glimpse of where are they heading. To start this, we have Patricia Mora, President of the Mexican Network of Technology Transfer Office, who, may I also say, did a tremendous effort with the innovation platform LinkMe. Patricia, welcome, and the floor is yours.
Thank you for the invitation. Let me share my screen. Okay, it's ready. Okay, it's right now. You can see my screen now. I'm Patricia Mora, the director of the Global Innovation Hubs at Tecnológico de Monterrey. Also, I'm the president of two networks. One is an international network in Pacific Alliance that is represented by four countries: Mexico, Chile, Colombia, and Peru. And the other is a national network of tech transfers technologies offices in Mexico. I'm the president right now. And let me explain briefly what are the tech transfer offices. The tech transfer offices are units inside companies, also in universities, that try to connect the innovations and the research capabilities that we have in the universities with the needs in the market. And one way to connect is transfer these innovations to a third parties as a companies, and also is the entrepreneurship based in innovation or entrepreneurship, or create startups based in these new technologies. So I would like to talk about these efforts and put the context in Latin America and also in the world. You know, the economy in Latin America is falling 9.1%. Also, it's very impressive that the Latin American economies at this moment is the most affected because the COVID-19 pandemic. So for this reason, in Latin America and specifically in Mexico, we need to take these countries and lead these efforts with and create innovations, create solutions, and connect cooperation with the world. With the Czech Republic, it's very important, this event, because my participation here is how can we connect all these efforts, not only in Latin America, not only with China, not only with USA, also how we can cooperate this experience and connect this project that we have at this moment. In Latin America, the companies, some statistics is more than 2.7 million companies will close in the next months. And also the challenges is the 90% of the executives believe that COVID-19 will change the way of doing business in the future. And also the challenge that we have at this moment are very important because we don't know how to affront this pandemic. For this reason, we think the challenges we face in Mexico and in Latin America region is we need to think and reconfigure the new economy around the international value chains. We learned a lot that all our economy was paralyzed because many of the products came from developed countries as a China, as a USA, and we have a very important challenge here because we don't have nothing how to affront with technology and with our own technology all these efforts. The opportunity to develop productive local and national and regional capacities was more than evident. And integrate new technologies based in these value chains, in a local value chains, are the most important change that we face in this moment. Create new technology-based companies in order to promote the new economy and the new reality that we have at this moment. To the entrepreneur, I think, and we think, is one of the challenges that we affront. Of course, the digital technologies, but I would like to emphasize that the gender equity as an engine of economy and regional development is one of the things we need to promote at this moment. I wrote an article that this is the link here. You can see this is in Spanish. Sorry, but I hope to translate it soon. All these challenges that we face in Latin America, we think that we need to create a systematic platform to connect and cooperate. And this is the way that we can affront this new reality. You can access this here. First, we think how we can be connected, but in a systematic way. We create the first platform that was an open innovation platform in Mexico. We developed this platform in March. This platform tried to connect solutions and demands to combat the pandemic and the effects of the COVID. We developed this platform in 1 week. In 1 week, and was a very was more than maybe 20 institutions involved. It's in a voluntary way. We defined 5 pillars and sectors to promote and connect. One of the first pillar, of course, was the health, but also the second pillar is all the impact and solutions for the social innovation and how we can support the communities in this pandemic. So we developed, the second pillar was communities. The third pillar was the business, of course, the education, how we can maintain the education and in order to not be interrupted. And we think the IT and the business intelligence is a transversal way for all these pillars that we develop. And we try to, we develop this platform. In this platform, you can, is 24 hours per 7 days. You can register in your solution, it's very easy. And also you can put the demands and solutions and visualize that. This platform try to connect and maintain connected all this effort, but I would like to say something. It's not only to put evidence that the solutions are there or the demands are there. We need a task force to connect them, because the most important in the tech transfer efforts is how to connect these solutions with the demands, and the steps you need to connect are very hard. Jacobo said one of the most important, maybe is not only to create the technology, also is the regulations way, also is how to, the manufacturing, also is the funds and the money. So you need to solve in each state and connect the different stakeholders you need in the chain value in order to create real impact. So our experience as a tech transfer office is the best things we can do is create this platform in order to connect and maintain a task force to support all this change value. At this moment, we have registered in the different categories more than 200 solutions that are in different way. And in the next slide, I'm going to share what kind of solution we have. But you can see here we have 23 solutions for community, 16 for education, from business, IT, health, etc. And also demands or needs from different sectors, community, education, more than 100. But these solutions, we have different types of solutions. Maybe one of them are products, 68 of them were products. The other one are services that are ready to be offered by the needs. Also, we have an R&D technologies that are not are under development, and they need to be supported by some kind of government, some kind of funds in order to create the MVPs or minimum products vials to be transferred. And also, this is the different categories that we have at this moment. And who registers these solutions? We have a lot of inputs: independent entrepreneurs, universities, public research centers, national companies, also nonprofit organizations and entrepreneurs, of course. But one of the things when we launched this platform, we think, okay, we don't want to develop an IT platform and nothing happened. The most important is we identify maybe 2 or 3 projects, and we need to support these projects to connect and have real impact. So for this reason, we call for different experts in a voluntary way, and we define 6 topics in that, or create a task force in health. Also, we create another task force in communities, other task force in business, other in education, and other in IT. So this is people, totally voluntary, that offers the different services and capabilities to connect and support these entrepreneurs and also scientists to connect their ideas with the real need that we have. So for one of the topics that we are attending in Demands in Health are donations of materials, especially for masks, also some protective equipment for nursing and staff and hemodialysis, creation of databases to monitoring COVID-19 research projects and patients, and protective equipment, basically. I'm going to show some of the projects that we decide to focus and promote. This is a low-cost mask that was developed in Tec de Monterrey, also the UNAM, that is a national university in Mexico, and one hospital in Mexico. And we developed a campaign in order to get funds and donate all these low-cost masks. At this moment, we have producing more than almost 20,000 masks, and this is the map and the hospitals that we donate these masks. We have this campaign online. It's Unidos Podemos Tech, and this is an open call for the society to support these donations. The donation is only to manufacturing and also deliver the mask, because the design of the mask is an open source. You can download open source, and also you have the equipment and the machines to manufacture. You can do that, and this is already open. If you are in Czech Republic or you are in Latin America and in whatever country, you can download and also manufacture in that. The only thing is that these low-cost masks can be sell. They must be donated. This is the links. Also, in April, we organized a China's experience in COVID prevention control. We try to connect also the experience in China, also in Mexico, and we developed this webinar. You can access the whole webinar in the YouTube and learn more about this experience, about treatments, about solutions, and how the hospitals be prepared in China to support this pandemic in there. Also in business, we have a task force, one project that is very, very important project we launched is the company builder Transferencia P. And we call for many, many aliens. You can see there, Transferencia P is an international network leading by these 4 countries. Also, Acelera P and Investments AP. We made this call last month. We have more than 170 teams, more than 200 instructors from different countries. You can see the statistics in the other slide. But why we decide to launch this company builder? Because we are convinced that one of the way from this pandemic is create new business and create new technologies. We have more than 20 years of experience learned in entrepreneurship and innovation. Also, we think that to better the world, we need to affront the global challenges with technology. For this reason, we prepare this project that at this moment is focused only in these 4 countries, Mexico, Colombia, Chile, and Peru, but we try to connect also with others. We identify more than more than 100 projects. First, the goal was to make the challenge. Then in these weeks, the company builders and the trainer is happening. And then after September, these teams will be supported by the 3 networks in the AP, Transferencia P, the network of accelerators, and the network of investors. This will be happen in the next, from September to January in 2021. They receive master classes, coaching sessions, mentoring sessions in different topics that you can see there. Also, you can see that entrepreneurial teams are very early stage startups that has an idea, has a passion that would like to solve a problem. Many of the problems maybe could be COVID or post-COVID. Let me share. We have at this moment represented 14 countries in the teaching team, more than 175 people involved. 63 of them are women and men's more than 100. Also, we tried, as I explained you in my second slide, the equity of gender is very important for us in order to promote the entrepreneurship in women is very important. So we think that this is the strategies that we need to push as a networks. And also the governments need to push that also to be more inclusive. So the expertise in methodologies and entrepreneurships are more than 100. 40 are focused in technology and 62 in business. Also, you can see the different teaching team per country here. Many of them came from Mexico, Peru, but we have a participation of different countries in a teaching group. All these teaching group is totally voluntary. We don't pay anything for them. They are supporting us in this effort with these coachings and also with these mentorings. So it's very important effort to call all these experts to support us in that way. Also, this is the teams per country. You can see many of the teams came from Mexico, also Colombia, Peru, and Chile. And the people involved per country also you can see. And the technology readiness level is spread in this way. 22 projects are in tier L1. That means that it's only an idea, and our idea is how to develop a business model around this idea and try to connect through that tech transfer offices with other universities in order to scale up these ideas. So in this moment, the most important is not is identify all the capabilities and the energy of the people that has these ideas and connect. The most important is connect, and with the different initiatives, not only in Mexico, also in other countries, as in Latin America. You can see this as an example. And also you can see the industries that we are focused on. In life sciences, more of these technologies or solutions are focused in life sciences, but also in education and energy and manufacturing. Regards the task force in communities, we decide focus the effort in works in violence with women, girls, boys, and adolescents, also vulnerable, excluded, disadvantaged population groups, capabilities, psychosocial support, and solidarity contributions. I would like, all these calls are promoted and all these efforts are promoting in our social networks. You have the links here and you can see the results there. But I would like to talk about these two. This is some webinars that we organize for psycho-emotional support for the LGBT community, also for therapeutic accompaniment for young people, also women, and psychosocial support for health services personnel. We have these webinars and also these programs that are supporting right now these communities. Regarding the solidarity contributions, we work with other nonprofit organizations. This is a great example in Oaxaca, the Mexicanos para Mexicanos. The idea is how we can support more than 5,000 families in Oaxaca. And you can see the challenge that we have. We are looking for donations. You are invited to support and apport with 1 pesos to 100 pesos, whatever you want. The idea is how we can contribute in a social way for these families that at this moment need your help. We have at this moment more than 115 families that was supported with these donations. And also we have the second challenge, more than 75 families that was benefited because this with donations that we are looking for these families in Oaxaca. Also, this is another one, con pan las penas son menos. This is a task force. This is also the Huertos Tras Patios. And regards the research in Tec de Monterrey, we have, this is the link of all the projects that we have and promoted right now. We have
Patricia, I'm sorry to interrupt you. We're running out of time and we need to introduce our next speaker. Would you mind please wrapping up?
Because, yes, of course. Yes. You have the presentation here. You can download. And you can saw all these projects that I would like to show you. If you are interested to connect with this project, you can contact with me. And also, this is an open call that we have at this moment from LATAM and Innovation. This is we make this call to connect with the ecosystem in China. This is open. You can link here. And And finally, this is my my contact and the links you can access. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. We're sorry to push you, but our last speaker actually has to leave in less than 15 minutes now, so we want to give him the space deserved for his presentation. And without any further ado, I wanna introduce Mr. Jiří Kůz, who is the chairman of the Czech Nanotechnology Industries Association, and he'll actually bring us down very closely to what happened here in the nanotechnology sector and what are the possible long-term impacts that the pandemic might have on the community of the nanotechnology expert. So thank you very much, and thank you for your patience. And so, Mr. Jiří Kůz, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you for the invitation. So let's go back to the nanotechnology, because Czech Republic is one of the experts in applied nanotechnology. And in fact, just in that moment, I'm protected by nanotechnology. You see that I have something on my face. It looks like scarf, but it is antivirus scarf. And I will show you something down. There is a shield made from nanofiber. And this nanofiber, this is something Czech Republic is quite famous and good to manufacture, can protect against viruses and bacteria. So let's go with my presentation. We have a message which is Czech is nano. It means from one side, Czech Republic is a very small country, roughly 10 million inhabitants, but we are industrial country with very long engineering and industrial tradition. And we were one of the first nano pioneers in the world, starting with nanotechnology in industry. In 2005, we patented the machine for industrial production of nanofiber. And that's the point where the story begins. And you see many logos on that slide, which means we have many really industrial companies manufacturing something using nanotechnology, and a good portion of them are using nanofibers or nanomembrane. So you may ask what is so exceptional and how you can use nanofiber. So let's go with the slide. Actually, when you manufacture nanofiber, it is not like one single fiber. You manufacture a membrane. This membrane looks a little bit like a spider network. And this membrane is made from very tiny fibers. The nanofiber is 1,000 times thinner than a human hair, so you cannot see it with your naked eye. And the nanomembrane has also very tiny holes. And imagine that the bacteria virus are going to this membrane and they try to penetrate, but the holes are very, very small. And it is not only about the diameters of the holes, but also about so-called weak atomic forces, van der Waals forces, which work like tiny magnets catching the small particles. So you can use a nanofiber membrane for filtration of the air or of the water. And one of the applications are face masks or respirators. It is not innovation of that year. It was here already several years ago. But pandemic and this year work like lights showing nanotechnology that it is something which can help very much for your protection against the virus. Go ahead. You see that graph that really you can catch from let's say 95 to almost 100% of viruses and bacteria. What happened in Czech Republic during the pandemic or pandemic outbreak? we had already before, we had two industrial manufacturers, the company Nanotex and company Pardam manufacturing nanofiber. For instance, Pardam had a sample or a new product respirator with nanofibers, but the interest of the people was very low. Why to use it? We have the standard respirators in the industry. But at the moment when coronavirus came to Europe and the people knew that face masks and respirators made from nanofibers can really very well protect, the interest of the just normal people jumped like this. So everybody wanted to buy nanofiber face masks and nanorespirators, but the production was very low. Actually, in January, the production of face masks, in general, of face masks and respirators in Czech Republic was 0 something. Now we are in the summer 2020, so let's say 4 or 5 months later, and
voy a desconectar, mi amor, ya nada más les estoy diciendo a ver si no me necesitan algo más.
And we have now 5 industrial producers of nanofiber and many companies manufacturing face masks and respirators or other products like that SCAV using nanofiber. So sometimes I say it was mobilization, I think English is the right word, of the Czech nano industry. And even from one side, pandemia is a very bad thing and for all of the world. On the other side, it was something like driver for nanotechnology industry. So you see, before COVID, just 2 manufacturers of respirators. Summer 2020, plenty of them. And it is so that in the European Union, Czech Republic is the major manufacturer of nanomembrane and of the face mask respirators using that very innovative concept. So at the end, it is helping very much with the sector, and also regarding the money, because when you want to manufacture something new, you need money. So you can go to the bank, but they say, okay, you are too innovative and it's risky. So we are searching for investors, and the investors saying, okay, it is risky, so I don't know if I should take money from my pocket. So it was very difficult to find investors to nanotechnology, but this year it is in the opposite. The investors coming to us asking, I would like to invest in nanotechnology to make money from that very interesting area. So you see, in Czech Republic, you can find many nano respirators, nano scarves, and nano face masks, and maybe it is opportunity for Czech Republic and Mexico to find a kind of joint venture or something. We can place part of the production to Mexico to give our know-how to build a joint venture company. So you see how you know that message that each crisis is also a chance to do something. So we can transform that crisis to a chance to work together to make something in nanotechnology. And you know, I got very often the question, so what will happen now when the world will be the same like before COVID? I don't think so. I think we will. You remember the September 11, 2001, the airport before and after, and I think that it is something like this, that after COVID, the standards of the protection of people against viruses, bacteria, will be much higher than now. So it means this business is very interesting, both for Czech Republic and Mexico. So that's all, and thank you for the invitation also.
Thank you so much. I believe this was a perfect way to end the presentations because, yes, the pandemic has had a profound impact on our societies, on our economies, and above all, on innovation. And the way you described how it mobilized the community of the companies, I think is absolutely key. And we need to just see how to keep this ball rolling and how to keep cooperating, especially between Mexico and the Czech Republic. I hope we have all brought and learned a lot of new things from today's webinar, but we still have a few minutes. Well, we're a bit over time, but we'll use a few minutes to actually see some questions. There haven't been a lot, but we want to at least answer the ones that appeared. And before I actually invite the previous Czech speakers to join us on this side of the table, I would ask maybe first Daniel, as he works for the government, to help us with one question, which is about what kind of data politicians need of scientific data to make decisions. If it's a scientific paper, a one-pager, numbers, indicators, or meetings with scientific committees. How can scientists, I understand this question, how can scientists communicate with politicians and what kind of data to best present to make the informed decisions that we actually talked about? So Daniel, if you could maybe try to answer that, and then we'll see if somebody else wants to join in. Thank you so much.
Okay, thanks for the question. Actually, I am a scientist, and also I am I work in the government. So it's I think that is a good question. We need, as researchers, we need to get involved with the government. Before being in the government, I was working in Tecnológico de Monterrey, and I think that is something that we need to improve in our researchers. They need to get involved in the public policies to know what the world needs and what Mexico needs in this case. And in the specific case of COVID, what we were needing, like from the scientific side, was the availability of data to do all the modeling and to have all this information needed for the data science applications development. And also, we also need information from the government to develop different applications, like, for example, for the ventilators, we needed to know what was, for example, the average weight of the patients with COVID. So we need a lot of information from the government, that they are the only ones that have the information, but also there are a lot of barriers, like for privacy of the patients, and all that privacy also sometimes avoid some developments. So we need to improve a lot of policies. We also need to improve the way the government works to approve the developments from the universities. And I think that for what is very important, what Patti Mora is doing with the OTT, because she is looking for the needs, and she is taking those needs to the researchers. So I think that that's the link that we need. We need something like the OTT, like LinkMe, that was generated by the OTT. That's the main function to take those needs and to put the researchers to work on those needs. We need to work more on a model like pulling the needs than pushing the projects. So we need to change that perspective, and that's the way we are working in Mexico. We're in specific in Jalisco. We are working with the needs. And once we know what is needed, then we design all the call for proposals, very focused on the research needs of which challenge from the society we need to solve using science and technology. And we try to focus the researchers and all the capacity of science and technology of Jalisco, solving those problems and also working to improve the competitiveness of our main sectors in Jalisco.
Thank you. Yeah, I think it's a very kind of similar experience that we've had here, kind of getting information from both sides and kind of trying to pair it up. I think it was also demonstrated partially in the presentations, kind of how we worked through the pandemic, creating the different programs. Maybe just to actually address the questions that are appearing so that we don't ignore our guests. There is one question about additional information on the Corovent solution and its use for healthcare. So maybe I would ask our colleague Jakub Hayek to answer briefly what he can comment on so that we actually address this topic. Thank you.
So once again, what was exactly the question?
Can you provide further information about Corovent and its use approval for healthcare?
Yeah, all right. So it's probably tracking the certification of medical devices. I would say from the wider point of view, we probably should say that the certification of any product in European Union is quite regulated and we have to follow the rules. And we have seen in last months that this was the very narrow point of all the process we had here. Specifically for ventilators, the medical device or ventilator is a medical device of such importance that it requires a lot of process before it's certified. In fact, first of all, it has to follow special rules. I have here the numbers and the types of the norms, but I think I can later post them on the comments. It has to take simply at least 3 months of the clinical testing. Then there is a result from State Institute for Drug Control. And then the documentation for this ventilator has to be passed to notified body to get the CE certification, which takes usually roughly around 6 months. 6 months. So in total, if I calculate, it cannot be less than 9 months from the start to finish, where we are still not yet. So if we would follow the standard process, the answer is simple. It can't be released yet. The second possibility how to get the released product faster on the market is simply copy and paste. So it means take something what is already CE certified, scale up the production, and use it. This is not the case because Corovent is a very simple, let's say, specific ventilator just for urgent situation. And that's the third possibility how you can use the product. You can use it without the CE or let's say without the certificate to be used. It can be done in so-called emergency mode. It has to be evaluated and also authorized by the government, in this case specifically by the Ministry of Health. It can be only used in a state of emergency, which we are not in right now, so it's not possible to use it. And honestly, I think this was exactly how Professor Roby, who is standing behind this project, was mentioning the Corovent at all, because he said this is the last state. I mean, if anything else will fail and we don't have enough ventilators, this is exactly the equipment you can use. And we are not in that moment. We were never actually in Czech Republic in that moment. So I'm sure right now it's not allowed to use it in a normal standard clinical or medical way. I believe, and that's what I've heard, I don't have this information in written, but I've heard they are thinking of, let's say, Corovent 2.0 with much deeper technical base, let's say, and that might be probably certified much faster. But still, it takes 9 months. That's simply how it works in European Union, at least. I'm sure in America it will be very similar, maybe a little bit shorter, but very similar.
Thank you so much for the very exhaustive, I think, description. But it just shows us that the pandemic actually requires that we keep learning and that we keep adjusting our solutions. So we don't know what's lying ahead. We will definitely keep innovating. Maybe I'll just ask if somebody has like a final comment, because my colleague Atsiri was saying that maybe Alonso, if you want to add something on the previous topic or on the following topics that you might be interested. So I would like to give you the space for that.
Well, just to say again that I'm very appreciated to receive the invitation, and we want to establish our interest for collaborate to share our experience. But more than that, we want to collaborate. I identify that there are a lot of potential. There are a lot of lines that we are working, and you are working in Czech Republic. And for the Hidalgo state government, the national network of councils and the network of hubs, there are a lot of interest, and I expect that this webinar is the starting point for better understanding and collaboration between the innovation ecosystem of Czech Republic and the innovation ecosystem in Mexico. Thank you very much again.
Thank you very much. And I think with that, we are at the end of our webinar. I want to thank again, I would like to express my appreciation to all the participants for taking time out of your busy duties to attend this webinar. And if you are interested to get more information on a particular topic presented today, organizations or speakers, please send us a message and we will be in contact with you. On behalf of the organizers and our speakers, thank you once again. Thank you all for watching, and until we meet next time.